Good morning. I'm going to read from a prepared statement. I'm also able to take questions afterwards. My name is Staff Sergeant Dominic Mayhew, D-O-M-I-N-I-C, M-A-Y-H-E-W, of the Calgary Police Service Child Abuse Unit. What I can tell you is that the Calgary Police Service Child Abuse Unit has charged a local teacher following an investigation into inappropriate sexual contact with a student dating back more than a decade. In January 2017, detectives began an investigation into a complaint from a woman who alleged she had an inappropriate sexual relationship with a teacher while she was a student at Bishop McNally High School between 2007 and 2009. The victim was 16 years old when the offenses began. The incidents are alleged to have occurred at several residences in Calgary as well as at the school. Despite the age of consent in 2007 being 14, the suspect was in a position of trust and authority over the victim for the duration of the alleged offenses. The alleged acts are illegal and in contravention of Section 153 of the Criminal Code of Canada. Yesterday, Edwin K. Arias, 45, was arrested and charged with sexual contact with a young person in a position of authority and sexual assault. These charges were laid early this morning. I encourage anybody who's a victim of a crime or anybody who might have information in relation to this offense or others to please come forward and should contact the Calgary Police Service. Thanks. I'll take any questions that you might have.
You suspect that there's other victims in this situation?
I think that this is a circumstance where in a historic allegation 10 years later, there is always that possibility. At the time of the investigation, it is not believed that there was any other victims at the time the victim came forward.
Do you know if he was still employed at the school at the time of the arrest?
That's my understanding. However, the Calgary Police Service has had a close working relationship with the Calgary Catholic School District, and I would encourage you that, that they can follow up on that information.
Did this, I don't want to call it a relationship, did they see each other after 2009? I'm assuming 2009 was graduation year. Maybe I'm wrong. Did they see each other after that?
This was mostly what we're focusing on is the contact that happened between 2007 and 2009. Between 2009 and today's date, I would say there's been limited contact, and the vast majority of the contact occurred during those initial years.
Did they ever live together, the two of them? Were the parents aware of this? And there's chatter online that these two, the parents knew, they were living together. Is there any truth to those statements?
I'm not aware of that.
Just to be clear, even though she was underage at the time, it was consensual.
Well, I think, you know, specifically when it comes to teachers in positions of authority, consent is certainly looked at a little bit differently when it comes to that. You know, there are specific sections of the criminal code that deal with that particular issue, and those are the charges that were laid in this particular case.
Is it believed when someone's in a position of authority that there is no consent?
I think each situation is different and needs to be considered based on the merit of the case. I would say that those dynamics are something that we want to look at specifically in each and every individual case. There are specific sections of the code, there's many sections of the code which charges could be laid in relation to specific circumstances, so I think that answers your question, hopefully. Yes, as I mentioned, this is a historic, about a 10-year historic complaint. I think it's safe to say that victims process information differently, and at the time when victims feel that they're in a position or comfortable coming forward, we encourage all people, regardless of when the offense occurred, to come forward and to let police know, you know, when they feel comfortable to do so.
You had mentioned at the time this investigation began, you were unaware of any other people that might be involved?
That's correct.
Has that changed since?
No, that position has not changed. Obviously, the charges that are here today are concerning, and based on the charges that are laid, we're interested in anybody that would have information. We are not aware of any other victims. I can't exclude the possibility that that could be the case, and so anybody who doesn't have information, we would like to speak to them.
And just why that one charge, sexual contact with a person, with a youth by a person in authority, why is that so concerning to Calgary Police and obviously in the criminal code? What does this mean for police to be doing this investigation?
Well, I think, as I mentioned, anytime that you're charging a person who is in a position of authority, that is concerning to the citizens of Calgary, parents, and I would say that that teachers spend a lot of time with students, and we do put them in a position of trust. We understand that students are engaging in relationships with students all the time. This is a circumstance where that relationship exceeded what is normally the case and crossed the threshold of something that was criminal.
I believe she came forward in January, or the investigation started in January. What happened in that span of 3-4 months? What would that investigation look like?
Mm-hmm. All our sexual assault investigations occur on different timelines. These are allegations which need to be thoroughly investigated. We, while 10 years might have posed some investigative obstacles, we want to make sure that we're doing a thorough and complete investigation. And in this case, that's what led to charges as of yesterday's date.
Can you get any more specific than that? Did you talk to students, teachers? What did that involve?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, not specifically, in relation to this case. I'm not going to get into the details of what the investigation or the investigative methods were. But with most investigations, we're looking to speak with people who would have been present at the time, any sort of witnesses, any people that would have been in the school at that time, whether that be students or teachers or administration. So I think there's a large possibility in any investigation that we're looking at speaking to lots of different people, and also considering that the age span here, that was something that the investigators had to put in context with the allegation.
Does he have
When allegations arise against a teacher or a person in a position of trust and authority, how long after those allegations arise would you inform the school or the daycare or wherever it might be? Because obviously the charges were laid yesterday or today, and was that person working there the whole right until then? Like how much info do they get?
Absolutely. When people are in positions of authority, that is one of the initial assessments that investigators have to tackle. We are looking to safeguard the people that are in those positions, and that is our paramount criteria for determining timelines, for expediting investigations or investigative steps we might need to take in order to make sure that we're protecting victims while either during the course of the investigation or after the investigation is concluded.
So would they be informed, the school would be informed, and then they kind of, we're looking into this person, you might want to do something, or is it right up until they're charged, you can't say anything? Like, how does that work?
Yes, I mean, we're balancing a few different things. What I can say is that we do enjoy an excellent working relationship with the Calgary Catholic Board, and I believe that they'll be able to comment a little bit more specifically on that part of the investigation, but we want to work in partnership with our partnership agencies to make sure that we're mitigating any sort of risks to potential victims while an offense is being investigated.
Does he have a criminal history?
Not to my knowledge.
Sorry, but the victim was in the classroom with the suspect, or did they have it like it was your coach? How did they become known to each other?
I think in this particular case we're looking at a period over 3 years, and I think when you think of that, the amount of contact and opportunity that occurs over 3 years could be numerous.
Anything else you can tell us about his role in the school, how long he's been there for? We found hears he was a PE teacher. Anything else you can tell us?
I would defer to the Calgary Catholic Board to provide more information regarding his employment history.
Is he married? Does he have children?
Not relevant to this investigation.
You mentioned come back to what your answer to my question, to the emotion of the victim at the time. You said that sometimes victims don't feel comfortable coming forward. Was she feeling like this relationship wasn't appropriate, but she couldn't come forward? Can you talk about the emotion she went through during that relationship?
Yeah. I think generally we're looking to support victims as they come forward, you know, with this offense as well as any offense. Our investigators working out of the Sheldon Kennedy Child Advocacy Center are looking to do everything we can to make sure that victims are supported while they're reporting offenses and also during the process. You know, I can't comment specifically on how the victim felt during the time, but obviously I think it's safe to say that during some point she decided to come forward and make a report of what she felt was inappropriate at the time, and the police investigation ensued. The investigative team has a good working relationship with this victim and will afford her any supports that we can during this process.
You mentioned that it takes victims different times to process things, and what would you say to someone who wants to come forward but they might feel it's too late?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we understand that these are very difficult, complex events that happen in people's lives, especially with young people. And it's certainly the hope that police can be viewed as those people that people can come forward and talk to. You know, within schools, we have school resource officers. We have other, you know, contact points within schools, and so whether it's, you know, people connecting at a school level, connecting with a school resource officer, we're hoping that those people do trust us, do trust the process, and can come forward.
Can you just pronounce his name again?
Edwin K. Arias.
Dom, you just mentioned the statute, right?
The statute of limitations for an offense. Yeah, and I think just to add on to that then, that there is no statute of limitations in relation to sexual assault investigation.